Welcome to the explainer. You know, medical terminology can feel like this secret language, right? Almost like it's designed to keep you out. Well, I'm here to tell you it's not. It's really just a code, and today we're going to hand you the decoder ring to crack it wide open.
Just think about it for a second. What if a crazy-sounding word like nephrolithotripsy could be just as easy to understand as, say, runny nose? And you know what? It's totally possible. By the end of this explainer, you're going to see exactly how.
Okay, let's dive right in, because it absolutely can be that simple. This language isn't just a jumble of long, scary words. It's actually a super logical system, a code that's built from really simple, reusable parts. And today, you and I are going to crack that code together.
So every secret code, right, it has its components, its building blocks. And this one really only has three. You've got a root word that holds the main meaning, a prefix that comes at the start, and a suffix that tags on at the end. Once you get these down, you've pretty much mastered the language. Let's just take the word rhinoplasty. Now, it looks complicated, but it's really just two pieces of a puzzle. The root, rhino, means nose. You probably know that from, well, a rhinoceros, right? Horn on its nose. And the suffix, plasty, just means reconstruction. So you put them together, nose reconstruction. See? Simple as that.
All right, so now that we've got the basic formula, let's actually apply it. We're going to start with the language of ailments, figuring out what's actually wrong just by looking at the end of the word. Our first key is the suffix itis. Now, this is one you've probably heard a million times. If you see this at the end of a word, it signals one thing and one thing only: inflammation. It means some part of the body is swollen, red, and probably not having a very good time.
And here's where all just clicks. We already know rhino means nose. So you add itis, and you get rhinitis, inflammation of the nose. The same logic works perfectly for arthritis. Arthro means joint. Add itis, and boom, you've got inflammation of a joint. See? You're already doing it. You're reading the code.
Here's another incredibly useful one: algia. This suffix is basically your code word for pain. So anytime you spot algia at the end of a term, you know right away it's talking about an ache or pain somewhere specific in the body. And what's so cool is that the pattern is just rock solid. Myo is the root for muscle, which makes myalgia muscle pain. And we already know arthro means joint, so arthralgia is, you guessed it, joint pain. It really is a formula. Root plus suffix equals the meaning. Every time. Now, what's really interesting is that these word roots go way, way back, and they pop up in our culture in some surprising places. Take the Adam's apple. So the old folklore says it's from the biblical forbidden fruit getting stuck in Adam's throat. And the story probably comes from a funny little language quirk. The Latin word for evil, which is malum, is the exact same word for apple. It's a great little piece of trivia that shows you just how deep this code really runs. All right, so now we can decode ailments. Let's level up and start deciphering the action words, the procedures that tell us what is actually being done to treat something. Let's break down bronchoscopy. Okay, step one, find the root. Broncho refers to the bronchi, which are the main air passageways deep inside your lungs. Step two, look at the suffix, scopy. That just means to look into, kind of like a telescope or a microscope. Put it all together, and a bronchoscopy is simply the act of looking into the lungs' airways. That's all it is. Okay, now this one is subtle, but it's a really critical distinction. Both otomy and ostomy have to do with making an opening. But here's the key. Otomy refers to a temporary cut, while ostomy means creating a permanent or at least a long-term opening. One little letter makes a world of difference. This is so important when you see a word like tracheotomy. Trachea is the windpipe, of course. So a tracheotomy is a temporary opening into the windpipe. A tracheostomy, on the other hand, is a permanent one. Just knowing that one suffix tells you the entire long-term plan for that patient. It's pretty powerful stuff. Okay, so we can understand what's wrong and what doctors are doing about it. But how do we use this code to figure out who the different experts are? Well, turns out this is actually one of the easiest parts of the code to learn. The answer is all in one simple suffix, ologist. It literally just means a specialist in the study of. Anytime you see this at the end of a word, you know you're talking about an expert in that specific field. And this one suffix just unlocks the name of pretty much every specialist out there. Pulmo means lungs, so a pulmonologist is a lung specialist. Nephro means kidneys, so a nephrologist is a kidney specialist. A urologist for the urinary tract, a rheumatologist for joint diseases. The pattern is just so consistent and clear. All right, we've given you the keys to the code. You've got the decoder ring. Now it's time to put your new skills to the test. Let's see if you can crack a couple of these real medical terms. You ready? First question for you. What's the medical term for a faster than normal rate of breathing? Okay, here are your clues. The suffix pnea has to do with breathing, and the prefix tachy means fast or accelerated. Put them together. What do you get? If you said tachypnea, you absolutely nailed it. Tachy for fast plus pnea for breathing. That's a real medical term you just figured out all on your own. Excellent work. Ready for round two? Let's do it. What's the medical term for coughing up blood? Okay, your code keys for this one are the prefix hemo, which means blood, and the suffix heptisis, which means spitting or coughing. Yes, the answer is hemaptysis. Hemo for blood, ptysis for coughing. It's just another perfect example of how these simple little building blocks come together to create these powerful, really specific meanings. You're getting the hang of this for sure. So why does any of this really matter? Because this isn't just a fun little trivia game. It's about empowerment. It's about turning that confusion you might feel in a doctor's office into clarity. It gives you the power to actually read your own medical records, to ask smarter questions, and to take control of your own health story. The code isn't a barrier anymore. It's a bridge. Now go use it.